the world around us, it's changing so incredibly fast, isn't it?
It really is. Almost dizzying sometimes.
And that speed, it throws up a pretty big challenge for schools, right?
Yeah.
How do we actually prepare students for a future that's, well, pretty uncertain?
Yeah, for jobs that maybe don't even exist yet. It's a huge question. How do you teach adaptability?
Exactly. Well, today we're going to dive deep into an approach that tries to do just that. It's called design thinking.
That's right. And our mission, really, is to unpack this article by Fotis Pantopoulos, Revolutionize Learning with Design Thinking, Strategies for Educators. We're going to look at how this specific methodology helps build those, essential skills kids need, not just for tomorrow, but, well, for life, really.
So design thinking, I think a lot of people might hear that and think, oh, okay, products, apps, that kind of thing.
And that's where it started, absolutely, in the design world.
It's all about empathy, iteration, trying things from different angles.
Right, multidisciplinary perspectives.
But what's so interesting here, and what Pantopoulos focuses on, is applying it to education. How it can kind of fundamentally change the classroom.
It really does. It shifts students from just, sitting there taking notes.
Passive listeners.
Exactly. To being active problem solvers. They're doing, not just absorbing.
And the article really emphasizes that, doesn't it? That this shift builds the muscles for future innovation.
Precisely. It's less about what they learn, although that's important, and more about how they learn it. And this includes something pretty radical for traditional education.
Which is?
Encouraging failure. Seeing it as a step in learning, not the end of it.
Okay, that idea of failure as a learning step, that's where things get really challenging for the old ways of thinking, isn't it? We're usually taught, avoid mistakes at all costs.
We are.
So how does the article say educators can actually make that happen? How do you create that environment? What does that look like for a student day to day?
It's a huge shift.
Yeah.
And Pantopoulos lays it out quite clearly. Instead of aiming for one perfect graded answer right away, students get into things like rapid prototyping, low-stakes experiments. So maybe they're not writing a big report, first off,
Okay.
but building a quick, rough prototype. Could be a sketch, maybe a little role play, even just a simple model with Legos or something.
Huh. So they test their first ideas really quickly.
Exactly. And that quick iteration means they learn faster from what doesn't work. They get feedback, not just from the teacher maybe, but from their classmates too.
Right.
And it helps them see that, okay, this failure, it isn't the end. It's just information for the next try. Data, like you said earlier.
Yeah, data for the next version. I can definitely see the power in that approach. But, what about the practical side for teachers? Does the article talk about that? They're often stuck in systems with traditional grades, performance metrics.
That's a really important point. There's tension there, for sure.
How do they balance that?
Pantopoulos suggests shifting the focus. So you're not only evaluating the final thing, the finished product, you're also looking at and maybe even assessing the process itself. How did they use design thinking? Did they empathize? Did they explore different ideas? How did they test?
So the teacher's role changes quite a bit.
Massively. They become more like facilitators, guides, really asking good questions to push thinking deeper.
Less lecture, more coach.
Exactly. Guiding them through those phases, empathy, ideation, prototyping, testing, rather than just delivering information.
Okay.
And this also opens the door to bringing in people from outside the school. Community partners, maybe.
For real-world perspectives.
Yes, which is invaluable, right, for tackling actual problems.
Yeah.
And it adds this layer of sort of authentic feedback that isn't just about a grade.
That shift from lecturer to facilitator, that sounds crucial, but maybe challenging for some educators. What kind of practical strategies does the article suggest to help teachers make that move, especially if they're used to, the traditional stand and deliver style?
Yeah, it takes practice.
Yeah.
The article mentions things like using how might we questions, to frame challenges in an open-ended way.
Okay, how might we?
Right. Encouraging brainstorming, where initially all ideas are welcome. No judgment right away. Just get them out there.
Let the creativity flow first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And structuring feedback so it's constructive, forward-looking. So instead of just saying this part is wrong, maybe the teacher asks, okay, if you had another hour, what's one thing you'd change about this prototype?
Focused on improvement, not just criticism.
Precisely. It's about building that reflective practice for the student and actually for the teacher, too.
So, okay, when you put all these elements together, embracing iteration, the teacher as facilitator, maybe bringing in the outside world, what's the real impact on the students themselves? How does it empower them beyond just learning the subject matter?
Well, when design thinking really gets embedded in the system, it truly empowers students. They start leading their own learning in a way. They're often working across different subjects, seeing how problems connect, learning to break down complex issues from multiple angles before jumping to solutions.
So less siloed thinking.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And instead of just doing individual assignments all the time, they might be in these collaborative workshops, prototyping, testing ideas. These aren't just steps on a checklist. They're the actual tools they're using to build their understanding.
That sounds like a really significant departure from how many of us were educated for decades.
It really is. It feels like it's building this core problem-solving muscle, something they can use way beyond just school subjects. For life, really. Dealing with ambiguity.
Absolutely. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, like the article suggests, it's about creating this environment where constructive feedback, helps ideas genuinely evolve.
Right, until real insights kind of emerge naturally. And for the people running the schools, the teachers, it means fostering this culture, maybe across the whole school. We're asking questions, taking some risks, sharing different viewpoints. That's all encouraged. Everywhere.
So the whole atmosphere shifts.
Dramatically.
Yeah.
The focus moves away from just ticking boxes, meeting standards, towards creating these supportive, interactive places. Places where kids' passions and their unique talents can actually come together.
That sounds like it really engages each student as, an autonomous problem solver, ready to adapt.
Exactly. Ready for whatever comes next.
And looking ahead, with all the uncertainty, the global challenges that just keep coming, it feels like schools that manage to instill these kinds of lifelong design thinking habits, they're the ones truly setting their students up for success.
I think so. This more student-centered approach really empowers the next generation, doesn't it? Makes them more resilient, more creative thinkers.
Ready to transition smoothly into whatever they do next, university, careers, whatever tomorrow's unknown problems might be.
Which actually brings us to a thought for you, our listener. If we accept this idea that failure is embraced as a learning step, and that constructive feedback helps ideas grow until, real insights emerge, what might it mean for you?
How could you apply those principles?
Right, to a challenge you're facing right now. Maybe it's at work, maybe a personal project, or even just, your own continuous learning journey. How could you embrace that iterative, feedback-driven approach?